Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy David, and I'm coming at you with the final part to the E3 wrap up special by the free play mode. And it's Sony's turn, people. It's Sony's turn. And I'm going to jump right into it. They did show up a lot of games, a lot of third party games, very few first party, some exclusive, a lot of timed exclusives. So let's begin at the top and work our way down to the bottom where they ended up at. The first game I'm going to discuss is The Last Guardian. They did announce this game. This announcement came to no shock whatsoever, shock to nobody, and I feel that Sony had to announce this game at E3 this year before people completely gave up on it. It's going to be coming out for PlayStation 4, and they said it's going to be coming out in 2016. The game does look visually stunning. It's very artistically impressive, but the only thing that I have a gripe about is the main character animation. The run animation looks very awkward, and the way the character moves just looks very silly. The Guardian itself, the creature, looks very stunning, visually impressive. So I do hope Sony goes back and changes and fixes up the main character animations and the style, because it does look very much out of place with the rest of the game. The main character is a kind of a cel shaded looking character, while the rest of the game is fully rendered polygons and has its own unique, distinctive art style. So I think they need to change that up. As far as the release date in 2016, I'll believe it when I see it, because they've been announcing this game for so long that when they say, oh, it's coming out this year, oh, it's coming out this year, oh, it's coming out this year, this is the final time I believe that Sony can actually say, oh, it's coming out this time. And if they don't make that date, not a lot of people are gonna have faith in it going forward. It's gonna be very. It's gonna become the next Duke Nukem Forever. That's my prediction. I don't think this game is gonna make its 2016 launch date. I hope it does, but I don't think it will. But let's move on to the next game that Sony showed. And it's actually a new IP by Guerrilla Games. If you don't know who Guerrilla Games are, they are the game studio that makes Killzone. And this game looks very interesting. It's a post-apocalyptic game, and it looks to be a primitive race versus machines that have taken over the world that the game plays in. The game is called Horizon Zero Dawn. It does look very impressive. I am looking forward to more information about that. No release date has been given on that, but it is a new IP by Sony. So definitely be on the lookout for more information from Sony about that game, because it does look to be visually impressive. And I think that's the theme for Sony's first party titles this E3: visually stunning, very impressive. So you'll hear me say that quite a bit. The next game shown was a CG trailer for the latest Hitman game, and it is coming out for all systems, but they did show the trailer on the Sony press conference, and they did announce that the PlayStation 4 version of Hitman will launch with 6 exclusive missions that you won't be able to get anywhere else. So good for Square Enix and IO Interactive for locking up that deal with Sony to give them 6 missions that they won't see anywhere else. The next one was Street Fighter V, and they did reveal Cammy in the Street Fighter V trailer that they showed. It was a brief gameplay trailer, and I talked about Street Fighter V enough already. I have an entire episode of The Quick Hit about my thoughts about Street Fighter V, so go check that out if you haven't checked that out. I also spoke about it on the New Gaming Order podcast, so go check that out if you haven't checked that out either. The next game they showed, the beta for Street Fighter V, I almost forgot, starts on July 23rd, which is about a month and a week away. So for all you Street Fighter heads who can't get enough Street Fighter, the beta starts July 23rd. The next game they showed was No Man's Sky, and while I am interested in this game, the way they presented it came off as very lackluster. It left me with a lot of questions about the game. I know the game is visually stunning and it's going to be very expansive, but the presentation itself, the way it came off on the show, more than likely does not do the game justice. It's a very deep and very rich exploration based game. And for the time that they gave the presenter for No Man's Sky, 3 minutes about, I don't think they did the game justice. I hope there's more reports from it from the floor of E3. I'll be looking out for more news on that, and as I find more news on that, I'll pass it along to you guys. So moving on to the next game, it's a new IP by Sony from Media Molecule. For those who are fans of Media Molecule, those are the people behind the Little Big Planet series, and it's another game in the same vein where you create your own adventure, but instead of Little Big Planet style levels and everything, they're calling these dreams. And an interesting thing about this game is that you can actually real time collaborate with other people while playing this game, so you can have multiple people working on a dream, as they're called in this game, at the same time. And you can actually share and play other people's dreams like you could in Little Big Planet. You could play and share your own levels, and you could play and share other people's levels. So no release date was given for Dream, but they did offer to show more footage of it at Paris Games Week. So definitely look out for Paris Games Week footage for Dream, because I'm definitely interested in this, because I want to see if it goes the route of Little Big Planet, because the art style is very distinctive in this one, so it does have that going for it. I definitely want to find out more information about it. And yes, I am flipping notes again because I took notes during E3 because I wanted to be prepared for this. The next game that was announced was Firewatch, and it looks to be a wilderness survival style game, and it will be released first on the PlayStation 4. It is an indie title. It is coming to PC and Xbox One, but they did show a CG trailer for it, and it did look very interesting. I definitely want to see more about this game. I wish they would have showed more, but what they did show was very interesting. Next up, what they showed was Destiny DLC. It's exclusive PlayStation 4 content coming out for this DLC, and this DLC will be coming out on September 15th, 2015. It is coming out for all platforms, but PlayStation 4 will have exclusive content within this DLC. And the next thing they showed was some CG footage of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, showcasing Evie, and the exclusive DLC will be the Dreadful Crimes DLC, and it's based off of stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And if you don't know who that is the writer of the Sherlock Holmes novels. So I suggest you go read you some Sherlock Holmes in preparation for this exclusive PlayStation 4 DLC. And the next thing they announced is a new Final Fantasy franchise, and it's called Final Fantasy World of Final Fantasy, and it's coming out for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita in 2016. I wish Sony would stop doing this. I wish they would stop doing this cross-platform thing between the PlayStation 4 and Sony Vita, because it's just holding games back, especially since the Sony Vita has done, well, the PlayStation Vita has done like a nosedive in everywhere else in the world except for Japan. They just need to stop making games for the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4, and like just stop the cross-platform for that. Let them each have their own games, because when you do that, you hold the game back, in my opinion. The next thing they showed was a game that everybody and their mother, except for me, has been waiting for a long time, forever and a day, and it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. They didn't show any gameplay footage, but they did announce that it is launching on PlayStation 4 first. It is coming to other platforms, but it is launching on PlayStation 4 first. And this Final Fantasy gets a lot of praise because it was a lot of people's first RPGs. Like, I am not a Final Fantasy VII fan. I thought it was one of the worst Final Fantasy VIIs, but I do understand the allure of why people hold it in such high regard. So definitely look out for Final Fantasy VII to be launched on PlayStation 4 first. They didn't give a release date for that. The next thing they launched, they announced were 4 indie title games by Devolver, and they will launch first on PlayStation 4. And they look to be very, very fun games. I'll wait for them. I'll probably get one of them on Steam because one of them did look very good. I don't. My rule is I don't typically buy a lot of indie games for my consoles since I have a very high spec PC, but Devolver does make very good games, and they do have a very good working relationship with Sony, so they're going to launch their 4 latest indie titles on the PlayStation 4 first. And the next thing they announced was the Kickstarter to Shenmue 3. And as of right now, the Kickstarter to Shenmue 3, let me type this up. You can hear me typing in the background. Shenmue 3. Let's see how much this game has brought in so far, because they did announce the Kickstarter to Shenmue 3. I put my $60 down because I am a fan of Shenmue and I desperately wanted to see a sequel made, but the game is 10 years too late, but that does not mean I will not play it. And as of now, the game is almost halfway funded with $800,000 out of the $2 million goal with over 9,000 backers. So if you're a Shenmue fan like I am, definitely jump on the Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter.com, look for Shenmue, pledge some money for it, even if it's just a little bit. And the next game that they announced was, it's not announced really, but they did show like a little bit of a scarecrow sequence from Arkham City. I don't know why they would show Arkham City, because the game comes out next week. I'm gonna get the game. I know a lot of people are gonna get the game. A lot of my friends are gonna get the game, but this kind of made no sense to show at E3 since the game is coming out next week. It will have console exclusive DLC and console exclusive costumes, but I think this was a waste of time by Sony. I love the game. I love the Batman Arkham series, but to show this at E3, it makes no sense. It was kind of a mind-boggling move to me since the game comes out next week on the 23rd. The next thing they showed, well, they didn't show anything, but they kind of showed a little splash video footage of upcoming Project Morpheus games. They did say that they do have some stuff playable at E3, so I will be looking across the various websites like Polygon, IGN, Kotaku, and a lot to see what the general impressions are of Project Morpheus. Especially, this is going to be, I don't think Project Morpheus or Oculus Rift will be successful, because I just don't see people wanting to put something over their face for long periods of time in order to enjoy video games, especially when you're still holding a controller to enjoy those video games. I don't see that happening. The next thing they announced, they went into their entertainment, and they announced a lot of services for their music, TV, and movies. They did announce something very interesting, and it'll be very interesting to see how this takes. They announced a pay TV service, a la carte channels. And if you don't know what a la carte channels means, that means essentially you can pick and choose which channels you want to subscribe to. You can subscribe to individual channels without having to subscribe to a traditional cable package like you would your cable television or your satellite dish television. So that's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that takes. And if you're a member of PlayStation Plus, you will get these channels at a discounted rate. So definitely look into that if you're looking to dump your cable or satellite dish television service. If you only watch a handful of channels, like I do, only watch HBO, ESPN channels, Cartoon Network, and Fox FX, and that's pretty much it. So this would be good for something. This would be good for me if they offer more of the channels that I watch. I will definitely be taking a closer look at that. But what else did they announce? Yes, they announced the world premiere of Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and the campaign will have 4-player co-op. So it seems like 4-player co-op is the thing to do in these upcoming shooters. and it just looked and felt like typical Call of Duty. There were no surprises, though Sony did announce that they will be the console for DLC, since DLC will come out on the PlayStation 4 platform now instead of the Microsoft platform. So Activision's deal with Microsoft is over, and they have signed with Sony. So that's interesting. We'll see how that plays out. And they announced a lot of Star Wars stuff. Disney Infinity 3.0 will have Star Wars characters in it, and starter pack will be an exclusive starter pack for PlayStation 4 for Disney Infinity Star Wars. So all you Star Wars, well, not Star Wars heads, but Disney Infinity heads out there, this is definitely for you. They showed some Star Wars Battlefront CG stuff, and they showed some gameplay, and it did look visually impressive. But there's a game that is 10 years old that outperforms this in every way possible. It may not look as visually as impressive as Star Wars Battlefront, but the options are way more robust, and I can't in my right mind recommend this game for any platform that it's on unless you're truly a graphics whore. And finally, they showed Uncharted 4, and it crashed. They tried to play it, and it crashed, and that was very funny to me and a lot of people. But they did get it working. They restarted the game, and the game looks good. It doesn't look great, but it does look good. It looks slightly better than Uncharted 3, and it does seem to be an open world game. It does seem to be running at 60 frames per second, and the game did look good. So I definitely want to see more from Uncharted 4. I definitely want to see more information, and they did not give any release date on Uncharted 4 either. So a lot of these games that are coming out for that they showed off at Sony's E3 press conference, they didn't give a date with them. There's like no date, or they were shown at other press conferences and the date is 2016. So Sony really doesn't have anything on the immediate horizon. They're planning for the future, so it would seem. But right now, going for the rest of the year, Sony really doesn't have anything on the immediate horizon for the next 6 months except for multiplats. And as it stands right now, multiplats on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are not that big of a difference. Like, you wouldn't know which one is which unless you put them side by side, to be honest. That being said, Sony had a very solid press conference. The main shocker was the Final Fantasy VII remake to everybody, but other than that, I don't think it was a great press conference. It was a good, solid one. Like, Sony hit all the points that they needed to hit, but I didn't feel very enthused by it, especially after the amazing Bethesda Soft conference that kicked off E3 yesterday on Monday. And not Monday, on Sunday. And the Microsoft press conference was just solid. Like, it was great, especially with the backwards compatibility. Sony just needed to step up. They did not step up. They are riding their wave of momentum, and I hope that wave of momentum still carries them. But they, going forward in the next 6 to 8 months, they really have nothing that you can't get anywhere else. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the press conference. If you didn't enjoy this video, give me a reason why, or give me a reason why you did like this video. If you're feeling creative, make a video comment, and thumbs up or thumbs down this video if you didn't like it, or if you liked it. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to it and tell your friends to subscribe to it too. This is David from the Free Play Mode signing off. And this isn't the last one, because we have Nintendo tomorrow on the 16th. I hope you enjoy your evening. Peace. I'm out for now.